And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. If you're watching our TV show version on Apple, Amazon, Roku, maybe Facebook, YouTube, I've got my KW military shirt on. We have a Keller Williams military division, and just want to take this time to say thank you to all the troops out there, the folks that have given the ultimate sacrifice, and all those that continue to protect our country. So we greatly appreciate that. And we have special offers and incentives for any veterans out there. We offer quarter to a half point discounts on buy side or list side. So buying, selling, or investing, work with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We help you win in your negotiations, certified negotiation experts. $2.1 billion in sales last year out of our 3 offices. That's the entire Ubaldini group. So helping you win in any marketplace. Got a great lineup for you today as well. Attorney Frank Charles Miranda going to be in studio. FCM Law. He's a real estate litigator. We're going to talk about what's happening on a local level. What's happening locally? What's the feel of the market? What's happening out there with foreclosures? There's something like 5.4 million potential foreclosures and evictions happening in the next couple of months. How's that going to trickle down? We're also going to look at the Case-Shiller Composite Index. That's a 20-home index, composite index of home values. What's the pace in the market? What's happening? We also have Nick Schriver in studio decorating Elves, Halloween lighting and decor, and we got some good stuff coming up with Nick as well. I want to give a quick plug for Kevin Jackson's Unapologetically American Comedy Tour coming up to St. Petersburg, the Palladium Theater. That's going to be on October 20th, and it is over on 5th Avenue North at the Palladium Theater. Going to have a good time. Kevin Jackson, Tim Wilkins, Brad Stein, 3 comics, 1 show. I'm going to be on stage too. I don't know how much comedian type stuff I'm going to do. Maybe I'll work on my act, but I'm going to at least be on stage, do the Pledge of Allegiance, something like that in front of the group. So it's a nice venue. Have you ever been to that venue, Nick?
Yeah, it's a great venue. I've seen a few. It's kind of a more intimate center.
Yeah, like 600 to 800 people inside, so it's pretty cool. I've been to some of the Salem events there before too.
That should be a really great experience.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah, and tickets are only $50, guys. General tickets, you can find them online. Unapologetically American Comedy Tour, the Palladium Theater, October 20th. So quick shout out for our friends. They do have a VIP ticket for $150, 5:30 pre-show VIP reception. You can meet the comics, complimentary cocktails, appetizers, and of course VIP seating. Theater opens at 6:30 for the theater. So check them out. Kevin Jackson, Salem Media Family, always helping the family out here. All right, so this segment is brought to you, by the way, Discovery Golf Cars. If you're thinking about a golf cart, you always thought, hey, this would be fun. I would love it. You see the kids riding around neighborhoods, especially perfect timing for Halloween. EasyGo, Star EV, Cushman. They also have new and pre-owned. You can rent or buy. They also offer mobile financing and mobile repair, that is. Mobile financing, that. I guess that could work too. Discovery Golf Cars. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. DiscoveryGolfCars.com. All right, quick listing here. 1618 West De Leon. We got an open house this weekend. It's going to be Saturday the 24th, 12 to 3 p.m. Check out this beautiful Mediterranean palace in South Tampa. This is a gorgeous corner unit, 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bath, almost 2,300 square feet. You got a townhome here with large bedrooms, vaulted ceilings, lots of updates and upgrades, granite countertops, wood flooring, wood cabinetry, that is. You do have wood flooring throughout as well, ceramic tile. A couple of private balconies, 1618 West De Leon Street in Tampa, right there in beautiful Hyde Park, South Tampa. Great opportunity to buy real estate here in the Tampa Bay market. All right, we got a commercial listing also, 6361 US Highway 301 South. This is out in Riverview, East Hillsborough County. Great opportunity, commercial property. If you are a business owner, a manager for a company, and you've got trucks and trailers and you want to have some extra property that you can park on, truck sales, U-Haul Center here as well, 6361 US Highway 301 South in Riverview. That's a great opportunity to purchase commercial real estate in Tampa Bay on a corner lot location, 50 60,000 vehicles a day passing by. You do have an office space where you can have your work staff, your office staff. Great opportunity. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, Nick Schriver, welcome back, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man, and hi to all the listeners out there.
Absolutely, yep. Decorating Elves, very good reputation online. I can tell you firsthand experience as well. They did a first-class job on my home. It was a first-class operation. Everything from the scheduling to the follow-up, and everything was great, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, we continue to get those 5-star reviews, and we're always trying to get out there, and when we're having our meetings, which we do every Monday morning, the message is always, let's make sure that we're taking care of the customer, because that's what takes care of the business.
Yeah, no matter what business you're in the people business.
Absolutely. You got to make sure that the customers are being taken care of, because if you don't take care of them, someone else will.
And I tell you what, in real estate, we got some great clients, just awesome clients. Had an awesome meeting last night with some really cool folks, former military guys, and gal, and $500,000 plus listing. I think it's right at 600,000. But we got some great people, in Tampa Bay, some good people. And then every now and then you get some little, off the wall type crazy people a little bit, especially in the real estate business. Emotions are high, But yeah, big part of the business is customer service.
Well, I would imagine in any business you get some very interesting people, and one of the things I love about the Tampa Bay market is that there's just a lot of different people.
Yeah,
huge blend of individuals.
That's true,
and that means at any given time, at any given point in the day, you're going to probably learn something.
Yeah,
you're paying attention about something you didn't know, and some personalities. So we run across it in our business all the time. We get a lot of different personalities.
Yep.
A lot of different customers. We're always trying to make those adjustments and understand. But I have to tell you, I'm really excited to hear that there's people still out there listing houses, so that means things are still moving forward.
Things are going well. Yeah, by the way, I just got to plug Billy Currington's song here.
God is great, beer is good.
Not everybody, but some people are crazy.
People are crazy. This is one of my favorites, too, it's a good song, especially because I have Ohio roots.
Okay.
So later on in that song, or earlier in that song, either or, he's talking to some guy in Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
Later on, he leaves him the money. That's a very, very catchy little tune.
It's a great one.
It's a good one, but yeah, people are crazy. Aren't we all? So sometimes we don't think we're crazy, but if you check in the mirror, you usually are.
Part of my negotiation background too, from classes I teach and one of the books I read, he talks about the two things that people are is where we are irrational as much as we'd like to think we are rational, and logical, and many times. So you're those two things different. You look at the psychology of the human being, and sometimes we make not rational decisions, right? And then we have emotional. So they always used to say, take the emotions out of the negotiation, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Try to remove the negotiation. But Chris Voss wrote the book, Never Split the Difference. He says, well, how do you remove emotions from the negotiations when the human beings are the most emotional people on the planet, right?
Well, and his look there, and I love the way he goes about it, is you have to understand their point of view.
Yes.
And sit in their shoes. And you can, it's tactical empathy is what they say there.
Yes.
So you can understand it without agreeing with it.
Yes.
And so that's a big deal. So I know for a fact in myself and my business, we like to find the emotion, right?
Right.
We like to know what makes somebody emotional about their property and their house.
Right.
And not necessarily if you have the opportunity for serenity, or you have the opportunity to take, you're a hardworking individual and you come home and that home is your castle.
Yep.
We want to know what pieces of that puzzle are your castle. How can we help you by using lighting and creating the ability to use space?
Yeah.
Enjoy that, right? So where are those emotional connections? Where are those things that say, hey, I feel better now because I'm in some place that I feel secure, some place that's beautiful, some place that has value. All of these things that make us who we are.
Right.
We're trying to do that in the design world, in the lighting world, in basically with the creative space. So, understanding that, and, for us, one of the things that we always try to tell customers when they meet us, hey, this may be the first time or maybe one of a few times that you have an actual lighting designer on your property. Why don't you take advantage of that?
Right.
And ask us a few questions that you may or may not have asked otherwise. And why don't you let us just walk you through our process? And then when we get to the end, you start asking questions, and then we start going in specific directions that work for you.
Yes.
Instead of going out and saying, all right, so what do you want?
Yeah.
You know, like, isn't it much better when you go to a nice restaurant and you ask the server, hey, what's the chef really put together that it's amazing?
Yeah.
You know
What's
what I
the
mean?
specials?
Like, what's the special? What's this restaurant known for? That's something I always like
Right.
to do when I'm traveling.
Yeah.
What's this place known for?
Yeah, that's a good
You know,
idea.
tell me what's good here. You know, because I know what I like.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that might be here that I probably like that I've never heard of or never seen of or never tried before.
Right.
You know, and then you get into that, and most of the time you enjoy it. So, you know, we try to do that on design. A lot of times, sometimes that gets overlooked in that process with people. And I know competitors of ours, I know other people in the home improvement business, they go and they just want to take an order because they want to get to the next one. What we want to do is we want to understand how you're going to be living, how you're going to be using your outdoor space, and then how we can enhance that with lighting and make it so you can enjoy it much later in the evening. And now that we're starting to get into fall, we're right on the cusp of the fall season.
Yeah.
You know, days are starting to get darker earlier, right? And so we notice that. You're going to start noticing that more and more and more and more
Yep.
as we get closer to the end of the year, that these days are going to start getting closer and closer. As you come home, maybe you're at the point now when you get home with your kids from all your practices, now it's dark, where a couple months ago it wasn't.
Yep.
You know, pretty soon you're going to start getting home from work, pulling into that driveway, and it's going to be dark as soon as you get home.
Yep.
So, you know, does that mean that you now have to stay inside? You can't go outside and enjoy your outdoor space? Not if we're out there helping you.
Not with decorating elves.
No, absolutely not. Not with decorating elves, not with our outdoor lighting service. It means that now you get to go outside and enjoy a little bit of cool weather because there is this like notice in the air that, hey, I'm trying to not be so hot.
I felt it the other day. I was like, wow.
This is great. This morning at like 5:45 or whenever it was, I woke up, I go, whoa, I'm
Yeah.
not like totally boiling.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't that feel good?
Isn't that great? Like Floridians, you know, we
Yeah.
have that 1 or 2 days a year that you walk out and you actually feel a little bit of a cool breeze.
Yeah.
And it's like such a thing. It just rushes through your whole body, doesn't
You're
it?
like, I did not sweat from the walk my front door to the car.
Yeah.
That's a cool day, right?
That's a good start.
That's a good start to the morning.
Yeah.
So I had one of those recently. I was like, oh, this is so great. Like, I know it's coming.
Yeah, man.
I
love
and-
those days sitting out on
Yeah.
the back porch, looking at the lake, getting that cool breeze, the dogs playing outside, catching the ball.
The great thing about that is now we're going to start getting more of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you have our product and have our service and have outdoor lighting, now we've made your outdoor rooms and we've enhanced them. Now you get to enjoy that outdoor environment.
Right.
And a lot of people use their outdoor environment to take the edge off, to cool down, to add a little serenity, to maybe reconnect to nature a little bit, take that hard working day off, maybe leave your phone inside and just go out there and sit and enjoy whatever beverage that's in your hand. And we all need that as humans, right? We spend
Yep.
so much time on screen, so much time in cars, so much time in the office behind, you know, a desk, working with people, working with others. You know, you need a few minutes to get out and enjoy that, right?
Yeah.
And we're here to help make those outdoor rooms more livable, more enjoyable, and more pleasant, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that we're really trying to help and focus on, especially as we get into this time of year where it's starting to get cool. In addition to that, our schedules are starting to get busier,
Yeah.
right? And for a lighting company, we start to get more busy in the fall as it gets darker earlier in the evening, right? So there's a bit of economics to it, you know, oh, there's a buying cycle, oh, we may or may not be in a recession. But for us, as the night becomes earlier in the day, right, people start to go, hey, I really want to make sure that this is done. Or they go, hey, I've already got it and I need to make sure that it's serviced. So we're always kind of working those angles.
All right, we're going to take a quick break there. Nick Schriver, Decorating Elves here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check him out online, decoratingelves.com. More with Nick coming up after this short break. Coming up later as well, FCM Law, Frank Charles Miranda Law Attorney Miranda in studio. And we have our feel-good story of the day. Got a good one today. Paralyzed Army veteran takes first steps in 10 years. Awesome story coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey everybody, it's the Captain, Matt Bruce, and you're listening to my buddy Brandon Rhymes, a consumer quarterback. Sell, Brandon, sell.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, in studio with Martine Gramatica, that is, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer Super Bowl winner. Lifeguard Imaging, lifeguardimaging.com, saving lives through early detection.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. Yes, that's what we're doing at Lifeguard Imaging. You come in asymptomatic, and that's what we do. You're being proactive. You're coming in. We do a scan from the neck to the pelvis. It's a full body scan. It's a 3D image of every organ, and that's where 90% of the deadliest cancers are, in our mid region. So we can see everything. But for your listeners, we have a real good special. We have a $599 value, absolutely complimentary. They can come in for a coronary artery scan, which will give you their calcium score, 100% complimentary for your people.
Very cool. Hey, take them up on that offer, 813-917-1894. Call or text, complimentary scan, 813-917-1894, and check them out online, lifeguardimaging.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time. Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. Hot listing, 2803 Safe Harbor Drive in Tampa. Got $1 million listing here. Beautiful property, gated community. You have a corner lot, pool, spa, 5,253 square feet, gorgeous spiral staircase up to the second floor, and a private elevator. You got a movie room here as well, living room with a movie camera room. 2803 Safe Harbor Drive in Tampa. It's an estate-style home. The estate's at White Trout Lake, and beautiful property. Granite countertops, new appliances, pool, heated spa at 2803 Safe Harbor Drive in Tampa. All right, we got a property taking you over to Pinellas here, 1307 Normandy Circle. This one is in Palm Harbor, close to downtown. Great opportunity, corner lot location. You got a water view as well. 1307 Normandy Circle in Palm Harbor, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, 2,600 square foot ranch style home with a pool, screened-in pool. You got the lighter color kitchen, just a beautiful property here. New AC, new floors, updated lighting. Some of the flooring still needs to be updated, but 1307 Normandy Circle. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
All right, we got our friend Nick Schriver in the house, Decorating Elves. Check him out online, decoratingelves.com. We always talk about supporting the local economy here with this show. Thank you so much, by the way, for all the folks reaching out to our hotline. You can call or text anytime, 813-917-1894. If you're thinking about holiday decor, decorating, outdoor, any kind of outdoor lighting, Halloween right around the corner, Halloween lighting, of course, Christmas lighting, reach out to the hotline, 813-917-1894. Support the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show and our 50-plus show partners here on the program. So Nick Schriver's in the house, Decorating Elves, and yeah, the holidays are right here. Halloween's a big one for you guys.
Yeah, Halloween is, it's about 6-7 weeks out on the calendar, but we're actually going to start decorating some properties starting next week. And I've noticed there's some others that are already set up. Some people have already kind of got an early start on that, and I've seen a few of those, and some of them look really good. So we're going to kind of dive deep into that starting early next week.
Yep.
We've got a couple actually. We've already got one of the local TV stations that's scheduled to come out and do a piece on it. So we're going to start lining those up. We've already got several lined up. We've been looking at them. You're going to start seeing our work out there very, very soon. And for anybody else that's out there that's looking to kind of jump into that, you'll start seeing that too. We've got a couple entertainment venues that we'll also be doing. You start seeing those in some of the more social environments. And they start throwing those parties when you get closer to the end of October.
Yep.
But everybody, they all know, hey, if we're having an event, we're going to be throwing parties, we're going to be doing this and that. We might as well get the guys out here and enjoy it for the entire month or enjoy it for 5 weeks. Because, you might as well, if you're going through it, you might as well enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the idea, man. Enjoy the outside, and you also increase the value of the property. You've got the safety side of it, the safe passage.
Well, sometimes a lot of people overlook, hey, like, if you're going to spend some money on your house, you might as well spend it when you're living there and when you enjoy it, right? So, I've seen some people out there make mistakes like, oh, hey, like, we're getting ready to sell our house, so we're going to spend some money. It's like, wouldn't you wish you would have done that,
right.
3-4 years ago and just enjoyed it for that entire time?
Right.
Instead of putting that in and having the next buyer enjoy it. So, and maybe that's not a Halloween display, but that's definitely outdoor lighting. But we always say, like, hey, if you're a homebody, you like to spend your time at home, take some time. You don't necessarily have to hire us to do it, but go out there and do some things that make it more welcoming, make it more of a home, make it more of your style, and enjoy it. I love seeing people's personalities come out in their own properties.
No, I'd say they have to use you. Decorating Elves, they got to use you if they're local. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Anyway.
Well, listen, we love it when everybody uses us.
Yeah.
But we're also busy. Like, we got a full schedule, and we're doing everything we can to do all the work we possibly can. So we love when people use us. But I'm also going to say, hey, if you get out there and you want to do it, and you want to just add your own personality to your own property, I encourage you. Get out there and do it.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Nick Schriver here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, decorating elves, so Halloween, lighting, decor, RGB color change.
So RGB is this subject we talk about quite a bit, probably a lot. It's really something everybody's always talking about. And so a lot of people, we just ran into this project recently, and the RGB, like what it can do in the technology is still being developed. But inside your house, you can do a lot with it.
What is that exactly? RGB?
So RGB means red, green, blue. It's just an acronym for red, green, blue, and that's just kind of what we call the diodes, right? So RGB means that you can go red, green, blue, and then from there we get all kinds of blends of colors with the RGB, because red, green, blue are your primaries.
Yes.
And then basically, if you have a color wheel, you can make every color from RGB.
Right.
So primarily, you can almost make every color. So RGB lighting is just a buzzword. That's what we call it. So we can do a lot of different colors and things like that. Now, it's still, in the outdoor world, is still limiting, right? Yeah, it can do some things. But, we had a customer come to us a couple weeks ago and was like, hey, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And we're like, like in this setting, we should probably stay white and then try to accent color in, right? So trying to make all of this color is a challenge, because we're not using the best material that's made. Like, they just haven't made the stuff right yet. And if we do all of this in white, we do all these steps and all this other stuff in white, and then we bring a color here, and we bring a color in the pool, and we bring a color here where it really shows off well. Now you're going to accent really well, and so you're going to get some really good blends. Yeah. So we've had that recently happen. It comes up a lot. And one of the reasons I'm bringing it up is because it comes up a lot. And there's an expectation. Well, I was out somewhere and I saw this color, and I was out somewhere and I saw this color, and I really want color for this choice. And sometimes you have the opportunity. There's certain things that go, hey, this really works well for color. So if you have a lanai, color works really great. You can do a lot with color in your backyard if you have a lanai. But if you have a flat, like, open pool deck that looks at like a canal or intercoastal or something, or the water, you really don't have a lot of opportunity for color. So if you've got like a fence, or you've kind of got some big palms, you can do a lot with color. If you've got a nice wall, you can do a lot with color. That's like a soft color. You can do a lot with color.
You got this on your social media too?
We actually have this on we have some videos and some reels and stuff in our YouTube channels that also are part of that. So you're going to find that at Decorating Elves on YouTube. You'll also find it at Decorating Elves on Facebook.
Okay.
Right? And so we've got some clips and some videos that where we're talking about that and then we're showing that.
Nice. Okay, awesome. Good stuff. Check them out online, decoratingelves.com. Nick Schriver, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to the hotline, of course. We'll put you in touch with him, 813-917-1894. He can take great care of you here this holiday season, so reach out. Coming up, attorney Frank Charles Miranda in studio, FCM Law. Talk about real estate litigation, real estate law, what's happening out there in the marketplace, plus our feel-good story coming up. Paralyzed Army vet takes first steps in over 10 years. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, a top 100 ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay. We help our sellers profit more and sell faster, utilizing our innovations with radio, TV, and internet marketing. We got a hot property listing here at 9031 122nd. This one is at Fowler and I-75, vacant land, $4.5 million parcel of land here at 9031 122nd Avenue in Tampa. Prime development opportunity. We got 15.56 acres on Fowler Avenue at I-75. Great location. Sellers willing to sell different pieces of it. It's currently zoned AR. There is potential for zoning. Getting a lot of calls about multifamily and potentially a truck stop as well. Someone called about a truck stop. So 9031 122nd Avenue in Tampa. Attention builders, developers, entrepreneurs, investors. That is a great opportunity. Buy dirt is what they say. Buy dirt. Invest in the land, and it's a hot property listing.
Buy dirt, find the one you can't live without.
All right, we got John Long in the house. John Long, the United States Institute Against Human Trafficking. Welcome back, sir.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So, hey, let's jump right into it, man. We got a lot of good content. You got DeSantis, human trafficking up to Martha's Vineyard. You got a new study that came out. You were going to mention also local sting operation.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in the realm of human trafficking. Obviously, right now it's a hot topic. Everyone's now trying to figure out if DeSantis is guilty of smuggling or human trafficking.
Yeah, right.
Because he sent them to somebody else's backyard.
That's the ultimate. I think somebody's described it as the ultimate political jiu-jitsu move.
I hate that we have to use people as kind of pawns within this political world, and there's innocent people that are involved in this.
But they volunteered.
They did.
Documents.
They signed an agreement to go there, and so that doesn't make it trafficking. If people are willing to travel, it's not smuggling, it's not trafficking. And we're so focused now on Martha's Vineyard, but we're not focused on the 2.2 million people coming across the border since August 2021. 2.2 million. Wow. 2.2 million, and no one's talking about that. We're talking about the 49 people we sent to Martha's Vineyard.
It's a good roundabout way to do kind of a slap against these people.
Sure, it opens up the conversation. It's now a narrative because people are being forced to talk about it because it's no longer on the other side of the country; it's in their backyard.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they're forced to talk about it.
The hypocrisy too, right? I'd watched Tucker and Hannity talking about it, and they said, look at this. Now you got brown people in this ultimately white liberal place, and then they have 44 hours, and they get them out of there as quickly as they can.
Yeah, two buses.
But they want to jump around and talk about diversity, and that's our strength. And then what do? They do the exact opposite. Get them out of here as fast as we can.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of the bait and switch,
Yeah.
Hey, look over here while we don't look over there.
Yeah.
And again, that over 2 million people that are coming across our border, it's a huge issue for us. And when we look at human trafficking, some of those people aren't coming because they want to come. They're being forced to come. Some of them are smuggling in drugs. Again, we know that that's the biggest gateway for fentanyl.
Yeah.
They just made a bust the other day of fentanyl, and I can't remember where it was, but they said it was enough to kill 1.5 million people.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
It's bananas.
Is that even like a recreational drug, or is that just straight up poison, fentanyl?
What they do is drug users will use that to cut the drug. So they'll use it to mix in to make their supply go a little bit farther.
Yeah.
If they mix it, because these guys aren't chemists. These
right,
are people
but they cut it so it goes further, sell it for more.
And
I used to work at a GNC back in the day, man. I was personal trainer, one of my first jobs out of school, and I was a personal trainer at the Ritz-Carlton in Naples, and then I worked at a GNC. But you'd have all these shady people coming in there, and they'd buy these big, basically jugs of anisotol.
Oh,
and I guess that you do the same thing with that. They would use that to cut, these big shady-looking dudes, coming through with all tatted up and stuff.
It's not something that's new. It's happened forever. Sometimes they would use rat poison. Sometimes it would be just straight just some kind of powder, baking soda, those kind of things they'd mix in just to make the product go farther. They're not trying to kill people, because if they kill everyone
who's using
drugs,
rat poison, isn't that killing somebody?
Not if you use the right amount.
Oh,
so
there's
a science
you think about
to it.
repeat business, right? They're not good salespeople,
And that's what the issue is. They don't want to kill their people, because then who's going to buy? And so, again, the gateway down in the South is where all of these drugs, not all of them, but the majority of the drugs are coming through, and it's a huge environment. There's no accountability down there. And so who's coming across the border, we don't know. What are their intentions? We don't know. It's just kind of an open door.
Yeah, the intentions. I mean, you look at that. I mean, we fought 20 plus years in Iraq, Afghanistan, overseas. And, there's a lot of people over there pissed off at us. I mean, there's a lot of people that like us because of what we did and, some of the good stuff. But yeah, those folks can, they know how to get on a plane, jump through the El Salvador and San Salvador and all those places and come up that border. And, they're in our country. And we got feckless leadership. I mean, this guy can't even carry a sentence. And then he's running around and saying, oh, the pandemic's over. And then the White House is back walking that, backstepping that. But what if they pull a 9/11 again, and they have all these people in our top 20 cities, and all of a sudden now we're crippled? By the way, he's selling our oil to China. The strategic reserve is the lowest it's been in the history of the planet.
Yeah, it's scary. Where are we going? Where are we going to go, and how long is it take us to get there? It seems like things are speeding up in a negative direction.
Yeah. By the way, they asked him about Taiwan again, and he says, "Oh yeah, we would defend." But you know what? The level of our troops right now, according to Jack Posobiec, he says if they were to do that, we would have to have a draft right now. We don't have the troops. We don't have the reserves. We don't have, So we're in a completely vulnerable, weak position, and this leadership in D.C. is leading us straight to where.
Yeah, it's not, again. Where are we going, and how long is it going to take us to get there? And we look at the billions of dollars we're sending to other countries to help support them. When we look at human trafficking, globally, the U.S. spends about $20 million globally to fight human trafficking. That's less than $1 per person who's being trafficked.
Wow.
And so that's something that impacts the United States directly. We're the largest consumer of human trafficking, and we're only spending $20 to $25 million per year globally to fight that. But we're spending billions of dollars to support some countries that maybe we don't need to be spending all that money on.
Absolutely. We're talking with John Long here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, United States Institute Against Human Trafficking, longtime friend of the program, doing a lot of good work out there in this area of human trafficking and helping folks that are in that position. But and you look at too even the elites. I mean, we've got the logbooks of the Clintons with going to the island with Epstein. We got Prince Charles, or all these people. So there's a global stuff going on. I mean, there's some big time stuff happening at a high level.
Sure.
And people call it a conspiracy theory. Well, it's not a conspiracy if it's true.
Yeah, it's happening at a very high level. And who's really involved? Who do we really believe? But not only is it happening up there, it's happening in our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
The guy who lives next door to us, and the guy who is operating our churches, and the guy who's running our businesses. These are all individuals who potentially could be purchasers of sex. We know that the typical buyer is a middle-aged white guy with a professional job who's married, who makes at least $75,000 a year. Wow. That's the typical profile of a buyer.
Who's lost with all moral and values. I mean, what a
who's
lost
putting
soul.
up a front for the family, putting up a front for the neighborhood, but secretly is paying for sex. And we look at these stings, some of the recent stings. You'll see all different colors. You'll see all different professions. There was a cancer researcher who was just caught in the last sting.
Wow.
Disney workers, churchgoers, firefighters, so there's all kinds of, and the construction workers, we're looking at the whole gamut of individuals. So it's hard to guess who that buyer is going to be, but it's, we want to make it a third world country issue. We want to make it a Hollywood issue. It's the movie Taken. It's, my kid's going to be abducted from Walmart. But really what happens, it's happening in every city. Tampa's the 8th city in the nation when it comes to trafficking. It's happening right here in our backyard, and it's a growing issue.
Yeah.
It's a $150 billion industry when we look at human trafficking.
Wow. Yeah, it's a renewable resource, as you said before, John Long here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So you're referring to that sting operation. Was it Sheriff Judd that did that, Grady?
I think it was Central Florida. It may have been Pasco. Judd's great at doing these things. He could do one of these once a week and still catch 150 people. It's amazing that people don't learn from other people's mistakes, and they're willing to go be part of these things or try to purchase sex from somebody who they think sometimes is a minor. There was another one that just happened. They called about 8 people, but all 8 of those people thought they were talking to a 15-year-old boy.
Jeez.
And so they were arrested as well. And we're happy for that, because that brings attention to the issue. We're happy these things are happening, but we also want to follow up with what's happening to these individuals who were caught. Are they being charged with solicitation?
Right.
Or are they being charged with something of a lesser crime, something easier to prove? And we really want to hold these guys accountable, because that's the only way we stop trafficking.
Yeah, the prosecution side. I mean, we talked about the victims having to, look at their accuser in the face, and some of those challenges. I think maybe in that situation there should be a TV remote. Have them in the other room. Something at least to remove some level of. It's bad enough that the crime had happened, or potentially would happen if alleged crime, but. To have that person not want to press charges or not to see that person in court because of the emotions of looking eye to eye with that person. And I get it, as you have to confront your accuser in our system, but it seems like there should be an exception for these rude and crude crimes against somebody that's a minor.
Sure. And Florida's working on that. Florida's one of the states that are still working on figuring out how to make that disposition happen, not in the presence of the court. There are some states that are ahead of us, and they allow that testimony to happen outside the court, a recording that it is played then, because sometimes the victims will say, I don't want to go to court because I don't want to relive the trauma. I don't want to look them in the eye. I don't want to be in the same room. And sometimes when the victim says that, then the case will be downgraded or it'll be dropped altogether.
Yeah, and it comes down to also these times, especially, I listen to a lot of Dennis Prager. I love his books. Rational Bible series is a great one, by the way. But he breaks down Exodus, he breaks down Genesis in these Bible series, and but it talks about of course the Bible and what the real meanings are, and he's fluent in Hebrew, so he's able to translate, and just such a wise person. There's a difference between being smart, intelligent versus wise, right? Sure. Wise is that knowledge that's passed down from generation, families passed down. A lot of the poorest families back in the day used to at least, have a Bible. Almost every family had a Bible, and they would pass that down generation to generation with the stories and the wisdom that's in the Bible and the morals and the ethics. So I think, we do have a spiritual warfare that's going on. And I believe somewhere in the Bible it says something to the effect that, the devil is like a lion that creeps on the prowl looking for something to devour. Mm-hmm. So I believe that really translates into this human trafficking area.
Sure. We know we're dealing with darkness in that. We don't believe that somebody just wakes up one day and says, hey, I want to go pay to have sex with a 10-year-old boy. Right. But there's some darkness in there that we're fighting. We know it's a lot of times it's a spiritual battle. I don't know a lot of Hebrew. I failed Greek 3 times in college. But right now in the age of technology that we're at, we all have the Bible available to us. We have a lot of great authors who can teach us a lot of good things, a lot of great pastors doing a lot of good things. Yeah. But we just need those voices to be louder, to stand up for some of these things. People get more irate about which celebrity is dating who, or how a reality show ends. And people
Fantasy
will get
football.
angry. And football, you see people go bananas for their team.
Yep.
But when it comes to selling humans, it's not always something that people get excited about. Right now, if you go on the internet, so my son is 14 years old. He can't go to Home Depot and buy spray paint because he's not 18 years old. But he can go on the internet and look at almost anything if he chose to do that. Yeah. He's got complete openness to the world. And right now on the internet, there's about 20 million different child pornography pictures. Wow. Which is about 5,000% increase in the last 5 years. Yeah. And those are the things that are being uploaded. Like Pornhub was under investigation because anybody was allowed to upload any kind of video onto Pornhub under their amateur submissions. And so they were uploading whatever they wanted with very little oversight. They've now kind of redone their policies, and they're trying to shut those down. Backpage was shut down for a while. But the FBI and still has 32. They don't expose what the 32 websites are, but there's 32 websites. And we're not talking about like the dark web. We're talking about like the front web. Like anyone can find these websites. There's 32 of these websites that will promote the selling of individuals on their websites.
John Long here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, United States Institute Against Human Trafficking. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to ask you a little bit more about the church and how the church, some of the churches especially, there's some great ones, but there's some that are cowarding down. They're, actually allowing some of this, this pride type methodology coming into their congregations. I want to talk to you about that, how we can fight, also how can we get involved, how can law enforcement be smarter. Your website has a lot of clues to that. Plus our feel-good story of the day coming up here. We have a paralyzed veteran, Army veteran, takes first steps in over 10 years, coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you've been listening to the phenomenal Brandon Rhymes, the Consumer Quarterback Show.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, in studio with Martin Gramatica, that is, former Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl winner. Lifeguard Imaging, lifeguardimaging.com, saving lives through early detection.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. Yes, that's what we're doing at Lifeguard Imaging. You come in asymptomatic, and that's what we do. You're being proactive. You're coming in. We do a scan from the neck to the pelvis. It's a full body scan. It's a 3D image of every organ, and that's where 90% of the deadliest cancers are, in our mid region. So we can see everything. But for your listeners, we have a real good special. We have a $599 value, absolutely complimentary. They can come in for a coronary artery scan, which will give you their calcium score, 100% complimentary for your people.
Very cool. Hey, take them up on that offer, 813-917-1894. Call or text, complimentary scan, 813-917-1894, and check them out online, lifeguardimaging.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. Hot listing at 9221 New York Avenue in Hudson. This is a $2.7 million listing. Compliments of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, 9221 New York Avenue. We got 30 acres for sale, prime location in Hudson. This is perfect for maybe a Costco, Walmart, large Sam's Club, a distribution center for Amazon or something along those lines. Great opportunity, 30 acres located in an opportunity zone, 9221 New York Avenue in Hudson. One of our vacant land listings. We got about a dozen other listings as well available here in Tampa Bay. So reach out to the hotline, 813-917-1894, and you can also hit the website, consumerqb.com, but you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet. Tell me something good.
All right, feel good story. Paralyzed Army vet takes first steps in over 10 years. An Iraq war veteran was left unable to walk, can now use an exoskeleton to move around without aid. Richie Nader of Phoenix received a spinal cord injury from an IED explosion during Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2005, leaving him wheelchair-bound and scar tissue complications in 2013. Now, using a ReWalk Personal at 6.0 exoskeleton, he can walk on his own for the first time in nearly 10 years. And he says, quote, "I'm now getting to go out into the real world with it other than just training and simulating." Nader said, "Now I'm the stand-up guy. After 10 years of not walking, it's one of the most amazing feelings. You don't forget how to walk. Your brain always tells you." And there you have it. There's our feel-good story of the day. I love that technology coming into play, helping the veteran out. Producer Nick, that's one of the best we had in a while. I love that one, man. So, pretty cool there, John.
Yeah. It's always good to see our veterans being taken care of.
Yeah, I got to see that video. I would love to see that. So we got John Long here in studio talking about the church. We kind of teased a little bit about the church, and I think it's not all churches, but some of them are kind of these. What'd you say? Kind of a buffet style. They're allowing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this in there, just to try to get more attendance, try to get the donations up, the tithing, and it's more about running the business than it is actually preaching the word. But in relation to human trafficking and lockdowns, I think that played out pretty big over the last 24 months.
Yeah, we see the church now. This is a great call to the church. This is not, it should be a bipartisan issue. It should cross all religions. Yep. But we see the church is a little quiet on this issue, and we know that it's because it's not very romantic to talk about. It's not something exciting to talk about. I've been to church meetings. I've gone to a lot of board meetings in churches, and I've seen a lot of people get angry about the color of the carpet, or a lot of people of what hymnal should we use, the blue or the red one. And people get very passionate about those issues, and they'll leave churches. I've watched people leave a church because they went from pews to seats instead of staying with the old traditional pews.
Wow.
And so people get very passionate about tradition.
Yeah.
We're not asking. We don't want to water down the gospel. We believe that is the light. That's our calling. We're not trying to water that down. We want the church to rise up and say, this is an issue where we can stand up and take care of our children, where we can stand up and take care of maybe the throwaway child or the woman at the well. We're going to sit down with her, and we're not going to judge her. We're going to drink with her. We're going to break bread with her. We're going to love her, and we're going to challenge her to go back to a better life.
Right.
This is a time when the church can wake up in America and say, you know what? We've got 300,000 kids that are being sold in our backyard every year, and we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're going to educate our church. We're going to talk about these things with our kids, and we're going to make sure that our congregation is equipped with the tools to be able to identify and then know what to do. If they identify somebody who's being trafficked, we know that they're going to church on Sundays. We know that those people are in there, or potential victims are in their congregation. And so on our website, the usiaht.org, we have a training portal where we can train churches, train parents, train law enforcement on what to look for, how to do it, and what to do if you think someone's a victim of trafficking.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a big point, is what do we do about it, right? We talk about inflation, immigration, crime, the southern border, our schools, the attack on the children, this gender confusion, the growing big government, all these big issues, right? But what can we actually do? So there's action items, there's steps that you can do. I mean, we need to create this parallel economy, where we support conservative businesses, some conservative causes, people that believe that our country is great, and there's places you can do that. I mean, there's secondvote.com where you go and you can look at that website. You can buy through them. There's Public Square now. I just added my business to Public Square. So there's some ideas there and things that you can do. You can get engaged. You can actually go out. But United States Institute Against Human Trafficking on the website, you've got training there where people, if they want to get involved, they can actually learn and kind of see what are the steps. How do I identify a potential situation going down?
We don't believe that we've been called here to be just studiers of the word,
right,
or studiers of trafficking. It's not just enough to be educated, but we're called to be doers.
Action.
So not just learn about something, but do something about it. And so our website gives those tools on training individuals, and then after that training, to influence your sphere of influence. The Bible wasn't written for us to sit down every day and just study it,
right?
But it was written down so that we could learn from it and then go do something better and different. And so go to our website, be trained, and educate your sphere of influence. That includes your children. I've got a 14-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl who are tired of hearing about human trafficking.
Yeah.
But I know that if anyone ever approached them in an inappropriate way on the internet, they'd come and tell me, because they know it's okay to share that information with me. And so having open dialogue with our children, educating our school kids, taking care of our elderly, taking care of our college kids, and making sure that our sphere of influence is educated.
Yeah, absolutely. One way you can do it is share this podcast. If you're listening to our show, go to our podcast on your phone. You have the Apple iTunes podcast, Spotify podcast, Consumer Quarterback Show. Share this out. Share it out with some of your friends. Let them know about this. Spread the word. Be a poll watcher. Sign up to go and be involved with the elections. Wave flags for good candidates. People that are against human trafficking. People that stand up for conservative values. That stand up for our country. Hey, we've got a great country. People that say, hey, we probably shouldn't hire 87,000 new new armed IRS agents, maybe we could use that money here in our own backyard. Maybe there's some ways that we can, not spend money on student loans and maybe use that here in our own backyard. John Long, final 30 seconds to you, man.
Again, just become educated. This is an issue that's happening in our backyard. Again, we got that Hollywood picture of the movie Taken. That's what trafficking looks like in our minds.
Yep.
But in reality, it's happening on streets within our neighborhoods. Oftentimes when somebody is trafficked, they're trafficked by somebody they knew before being trafficked.
They tricked them.
So a family member, somebody down the street, somebody they work with. So educate, become aware, and then if you see something, say something.
Yeah, the devil's not going to come right out looking in a red outfit with the horns and everything, right? He's going to be cloaked and looking kind of unique where you can't really find out. John Long, thanks so much, man. Appreciate you coming in. We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.